And I know Amy said she was going to join virtually.
I'm sure we'll be here too.
I haven't had to go anywhere in a long time at this time of day. So driving down Hampton at like 5:20, I was like, what is happening?
Oh, I know. I left all my notes in the office. I wrote them down. It's like, there's no going back.
Yeah. This is awful.
I got off Hampton today.
Yeah.
It's bad.
I was like, I guess I could have just walked because we got to go somewhere after this.
Exactly. Hi. And then did we decide on like patterns within here?
No, and that is something that we should probably talk about or on site again.
On Monday.
Yeah, I think it'll kind of depend what the finished services will be able to detail.
Because like if they're doing their names somewhere small.
Yeah. Well, that's
awesome.
that thing.
Depends on the surface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For it to be too detailed, I guess.
Because like if we paint, like if we do like a dark green square and then like a light green pattern on top.
Should we get started?
Just like,
We have a quorum.
yeah, once we're started.
Okay, you all set?
Yep.
Okay, slide 45. Roll call. Chair Reese Adams. Present. Vice Chair Martin Gilmore.
Here.
Kyle Conrad.
Here.
Amy Fox.
Here.
Leah Moran.
Here.
Julie Parker.
Here.
Alternate member Monica Alvarez is not present. Councilmember Chelsea Noonenkamp is not present. I think somebody just,
Oh, Chelsea's here.
oh, Chelsea just showed up. And Monica. All right, Inglewood School Liaison, Emily Ancona. And we have Meg Donaldson as guest. Stacy Potash is excused. Staff, we have Director Christina Underhill. And Event Supervisor Tony Arnoldy. And I know Bethany Lafferty was going to be joining me virtually, so keep an eye out for her. All right, did I get everybody? I know it's kind of crazy right now.
Perfect.
Right.
Thanks, Debbie. Okay, let's go on to the approval of the minutes from September 7th, which seems like a lifetime ago. If we could review those and then if I could get a motion.
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Martin. And a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Public comments. I'm guessing nothing other, no, nothing else. Okay, great.
Just
Then let's go into the Cherokee Floyd Mural project.
Like I've become quite a fixture at your meetings, but thanks for having us yet again on your agenda. We just wanted to update you guys on kind of where we're at in the process with the proposed design as a part of our grant with the city. It was a requirement to bring this for you all to get your feedback and approval, I guess. And then just talk kind of about how we got to this point and what next steps are. So do you want to start with the student part?
Yeah, so we have a group of students that we've been working with, and a couple of weeks, maybe a month ago, we had them come with designs to our lunch meeting, and we got together a spreadsheet of, I think we had like 10 different designs, and there were a lot of we kind of threw out there geometric designs. So they took that and we had a list of 10, and then we narrowed it down to our top 3. And then we've been working with Josh, who's an artist in the community, and he came up with this design. And the colors, we voted on the colors and talked to the kids about how we could kind of easily create these big shapes that they would fill in small groups or individually. And then we talked about the colors being kind of the school colors and then also Inglewood colors to kind of tie in the school and then also the community. And then they really liked the floating balls on top. That was something they voted on that they really liked. And so here we are. And
Who's Josh?
Josh
Chepkis. Yeah, he's a neighbor that I was introduced through the neighborhood resource program. He actually lives in our neighborhood and he's a muralist. So he had expressed interest in other projects and I roped him into this one. So he's been great and he lives very close by it too. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Could you send me his info?
Yeah.
Yes, when you get a chance. Yeah, and he's volunteering and he's been to a couple lunch meetings and met the kids and he's been really great. So
These actual floating balls? What is this?
No, that's a good question. So it's all paint, and then the spray paint is a lighter to make it look 3-dimensional. And the city is donating a round planter on Broadway. And so we're gonna be using that in the corner. So it kind of ties together. I guess there will be one 3-dimensional circular object. And so it ties those pieces together.
Cool. What's the timeline?
Yeah, so we've started work. So last weekend, neighbors, we tried our best to weed the lot and sweep and blow and get all the debris that we could off the lot. We realized it was a very overwhelming project. Public Works has been great and Christine's been helpful in connecting us. They were gonna come and do the crack sealing that they agreed to do. So I asked if they could street sweep. So they did that on Monday and did a little bit further debris removal. And then yesterday they filled potholes and I think cracks I hope will be filled at some point this week. So we're done with the lot prep this week. Next Saturday, the 15th, we're gonna be priming the lot with neighbors and maybe some students, but mostly neighbor volunteers. And then the 21st and 22nd are the final implementation days. So Friday, the 21st, students will do the templating, so all the geometric shapes. And we're gonna try and paint, I hope, some of the perimeters so we can place planters as well. Another neighbor's building right now on the 22nd. So then the 22nd will be all the color on the mural, planters, library, where the benches will be in by then and kind of culminate on the 22nd.
You mentioned benches. Wait, tell us what else do you have going into this space? Just curious.
Yeah, so I have very rough drawings, but so we have a little free library that a neighbor built to resemble this building. They mimicked it after the Inglewood Library. So I have that in my garage currently. So that will place in the center of where those 4 quadrants kind of come together. And then we got 2 short benches that don't have backs, they're just seats. That we'll put in the center with the little free library, and then along the Floyd perimeter into that southeast corner, where a neighbor's building 2-by-4 foot planters that will line that perimeter with, because of the time of year, we're just gonna plant bulbs in them right now to come up in springs. We're gonna hopefully come up with the Fab Lab teacher at the middle school, some creative ideas to put something in it for the winter. And the round planter the city's donating also will kind of be the corner by the alley entrance, which is where that car is on the bottom there. So kind of be a wraparound planter effect. And I think those are all the pieces.
That is a lot of pieces.
Yeah. And we're working with CYL, Colorado Young Leaders.
Yeah.
And they're helping with like a lot of the supplies. They're getting some food donations, and they're helping with like the sign up for the volunteers too.
Oh, okay.
So we should have plenty of volunteers.
And I can share our neighborhood website. It has a link on there if you guys want more date information, or if anyone would like to stop by and see the 22nd. Hopefully will be a beautiful day and a lot of activity. So I can send more of those details.
Do you want to send that to me and then I can
Yeah.
forward it on to the?
Yeah, that would be great.
So our role tonight is just you just need design approval?
Yes. That's a lot of information to.
Well, that's good. I like it. I like where this is going.
But yes,
How much did you get from the neighborhood grant?
$3,000
Nice.
and the $1,200 from you. So we're pretty good on budget right now. I think we'll be able to get it all in with all the volunteer labor that we've had. So
Well, I'll move to approve the design.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed to the design? No? Good. Nice job, guys, getting this off the ground.
Looks great.
Yeah.
well, thanks for all your support.
How many
Long road.
high school volunteers you have?
So we, the Latinx we kind of like absorbed Latinx. I don't even know how that happened, but I think we had like 10 art students that first day, and then I think there's around 10 to 15 Latinx students.
Awesome.
So yeah, good sized group.
You should do a small write-up that we could send out or put on our, it would be nice. That's a lot of hours and a lot of like collaboration, between the
Take some
neighborhoods.
pictures, because maybe for the next Englewood magazine, we can put it in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll definitely take lots of pictures and I'll compile them all into some form to share. So
It's a great story. I mean, obviously through your tenacity, but of how someone can create change in their neighborhood and beautify it, which is quite powerful.
thank you. Yeah, it's been a labor of love, but I'm excited. Hopefully weather holds. That's the only thing I'm worried about now, is getting through good weather, but it'll be exciting. So,
I mean, last year I don't think it snowed till this summer, so I think we're good.
yes, I hope that January.
But it's froze.
Okay, Reese, you better knock on wood.
Yeah.
Colorado.
I know.
Froze in September.
I know,
Yes.
like 2 years ago, we had our earliest snow ever.
I know, I was actually looking at the weather and I was like, oh, actually, it's okay, we're okay. City forecast is fine. All right.
So does your street have like a special neighborhood name, or did you keep with the historic new neighborhood names?
Well, so we created a neighborhood group kind of before the effort to name, so we kind of influenced the name of our neighborhood, I guess, because we've been a neighborhood, we're just Cushing neighborhood, so it's based on the park in our neighborhood. But they worked with us to redraw the boundaries a little bit to be our neighborhood. So on that map.
This may have to become the new competition, like which neighborhood can make pull this off? Cushing's leading.
It's hard to find these spaces.
I know, it's true.
Yes.
It's actually interesting. Have you guys talked to Madeline about incorporating the neighborhood sign?
Yeah, so yes, so I meet with her regularly. She's been great. So she and I are going to work together when that's all finalized, the designs and the funding's available. So that will also go on this corner
Great.
eventually.
That's cool.
Yeah, a lot of pieces coming together.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great job.
All right, we'll move into the median call, which I know has been on the agenda for several months now, but I think we are in a place where the call pretty much is complete. We're going for new art only. We will use Cafe, which is an online platform for art calls, and a lot of municipalities use it. So I think it's quite well known within the industry. So I sent that over to the city this week. There are a couple like finishing touches as far as like exact location with like a pin for just the artist's like reference. And then a couple questions, outstanding questions, perhaps for the city attorney for any insurance requirements. Which I don't know what the city requires, but I work in insurance and I saw with other municipalities, some required particular insurance from conception basically to installation. And then also the one thing I forgot to mention in my email to Debbie and Christina and Martin, you were on it, but is we have no, I don't know that we've done this, maybe it's happened in the past, but any sort of agreement with the artist so that they know that we will take possession and then ownership of the piece post installation. So I wanted to make sure whatever legalities need to be wrapped up, we button that up too before I don't know, I guess we need to, but I don't think I would think that some of that stuff needs to kind of be in place ahead of time. And also working on a kind of like a group of city folks and perhaps us, but like more of a third party type of group to approve, you know, making sure that, I mean, it's on a very busy thoroughfare, so the design's going to be okay for traffic flow and size and, you know, that we don't have like weird colors that could interfere with any types of, you know, emergency issues or what have you. So we'll work through that. But I think at least the content is ready for the cafe site. And I think we should probably look at the pricing for that because Parks and Rec, on the last page of our agenda, Parks and Rec used to have an account with them, and I think that has since expired, but this is one of the more widely distributed and affordable sites for art calls. And so I would like everybody to just look at the two plans. Realizing, of course, that this is not going to be our only piece, and perhaps other, you know, parks could use it too again if they need. But you know, this piece is in ideally a series of pieces, and so this will not be our only call. And so keep that in mind when you look at the budget. But for the small plan, obviously, I think things have kind of changed from the first time maybe that we had this account. But I think that the standard plan is probably more appropriate for our needs going forward from the set of activation, same price, but it's the call price that I'd like to draw everybody's attention to, because with a small plan, it's $300 per call, or the standard plan, I mean, it's $525, but it includes up to 250 applications.
How many is the small plan?
Huh?
How many applications is the small plan?
It's per call, oh, that's a good
I
question.
think it was
actually.
150.
Oh,
Is it
Oh,
up
yes,
above?
150.
Yeah.
So,
He did say the plan that we did have in the past was like the standard plan.
yeah. Oh, I thought it was a small plan.
I think,
It's in the first.
The small
paragraph,
plan,
She says standard,
yeah.
Perusa public art plan.
Oh,
Oh, I see.
which is now the standard plan. But before it was like, we had 3 calls included in that price point, which is not the case anymore. So, I mean, there is a cost differential, and I would love to think that we would have more than 250 applications, but I don't think that's realistic. So,
How many do we normally have?
it depends. I mean, when we did Swedish Horses, we had, I want to say like 60 or 70 in there. But that was,
this is
a much different type of like,
Yeah.
yes,
this
calls.
is like a national.
Yes, it's a specialized
This will
call.
go out to.
Okay, I see.
But we're
So in theory,
we're
we
restricted to
should
call
be
it the state of Colorado.
Yeah, we are. We're restricting it to the state of Colorado. And the other one, I mean, like Swedish Horses was open to professional or amateur artists, so literally anyone could apply. I mean, this has very specific criteria to qualify for this type of piece. So I think just by nature of what it is, it's going to be a much more limited pool.
So is it 150 per call and 250 per call on the plan? So am I reading this, or is it 250 total among all our calls? You see what I'm saying? So like if we do 3 or 4 calls on all these sculpture pieces.
Well, the small plan, the 300 per call.
So the 300 per call, I guess I'm trying to understand this. So that would mean we can get up to 150 per call.
Yes.
On the other one, we can get 250.
Yes.
But we can do multiple calls
Correct.
under either.
Well, yeah, I mean, but you're still
Because
gonna
we
be,
have
you're
that
still
plan
gonna,
for like a
yeah.
year or whatever.
Exactly.
Every
Yeah, we won't
12
have to pay
months.
that setup and activation.
Each-
and
Exactly.
Each time.
The minimum
But if
cost
we
of
want
one
to, if we
call,
want to
the
list
lower
another
cost is
sculpture, we'll have to pay
150.
another.
I mean, I like, how realistic do we think if we're limiting it to Colorado to go under 150 out? Like, I just don't think that's gonna happen.
Under 150?
No, I mean over 150.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree.
And
Yeah.
I think even if we did the 200 per application is not unreasonable if it was like 10 people,
Well, right, I mean,
like, power to us if we get that high, but so I'm kind of leaning towards the small plan because I just don't,
I agree.
okay.
I mean, even 100 applicants at 200 is still less than.
Yeah.
So, in any case,
Yeah.
No,
huh?
no, they kind of looked on my mic.
And I don't know that we're gonna have a lot of audio or video up in the foreseeable future, so that doesn't.
I mean, I feel like we can always bump up too if we like, the fact that we haven't had it, we're going back to it.
Yeah.
And we know we have this call this year, but I mean, do we foresee us doing the other calls this year?
Probably not.
I'm
I don't
leaning.
know, I don't know that necessarily matters.
Yeah, and it may not matter if if we're gonna limit it every time to Colorado too,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
The advantage of the standard plan seems to be that you have more applications and you don't have a charge for video and audio uploads.
I think if maybe we were in a bigger municipality or maybe
Well-
even if we were gonna use cafe for even like Swedish Horse or something a little bit more open as far as applications are concerned, then maybe I could see it, but
My thoughts are, since we're limiting it to Colorado, I'm guessing we're not gonna get over 150 applicants.
And we're also
I could be wrong and that would be great, but,
exactly.
and then if we do for whatever reason need to submit audio and video, I guess we kind of just end up having to eat that, but we should be able to limit that. and not
I agree.
eat it.
I
But if
agree.
we decide, I guess, for the next call, because we're gonna have to do this again for the other media and places, then we can
Mhm.
probably just up it to that standard plan would be my guess. I don't know, I'm just guessing.
And we're limited too, because we're also doing a road sculpture, which is gonna also take it down even for sculptures of people who wanna take that on.
Yep.
Like, there's just gonna be, to me, in my mind, I think there's gonna be a limited number of people who really can truly apply to this project.
I agree. Any other discussion we want to have on this?
On the other hand, it's $225 difference for a $35,000 sculpture. I mean,
Yeah.
I understand.
Right. I mean, I would support either, to be honest, but I don't know. It feels.
Do you have any insight into this, Debbie? I don't know that, the only thing we've done, while I've been on this committee, has been those Swedish horses. So I don't really know what things we've run into.
You know, I worked with Cafe, I think it was for the River Run, the art there. And that was so long ago, I don't, even like say we received 150 that time, I mean, you just don't know on this time, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you said, one's in median and one's in a park, so.
I don't know, my guess, and again, I'm just guessing because I don't know. The audio and video things would probably be necessary if the sculpture had moving components. But since it's in a roadway, I'm guessing that's not would be a thing.
I do know, like the last call we did specify, like we did not do audio, video.
Okay.
You can be specific on what, or you can only upload this, or, you know, submit this, many of this, or, so you can be specific about that.
Based on all those things, I'm guessing the small plan probably will be adequate for what we're doing.
And then I think if we discover in the course of a year that we need to spend an extra $225 or whatever, we can cross that bridge.
Well, and then we get $50 off
Yeah, exactly.
if we decide we need it, but since it's in the middle of the road, I'm guessing we don't want anything moving. Or make
with
it
noise.
sounds, yeah.
Or flashlights.
I mean, it would have to make a pretty loud sound to be heard. I was out there the other day trying to get photos of the concrete thing. It's terrifying.
Artist who wants to work in the meeting.
I applaud your intent. All right, well then, we're gonna need to vote on this because it's, a fee, so,
Okay, I'll make a motion to, purchase the small plan through Cafe.
thanks, Martin. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Kyle. All in favor of the small plan?
Aye.
Bye.
Thank you. Any opposed? Okie dokie, let's get this party started. Okay.
Before we move on from this, do we still have a timeline on this thing? We're waiting for the city attorney.
Yeah.
Because we had talked about doing an email vote on the actual plan, because I don't think we voted on the actual call, the language of the call yet. Spending the money.
Yeah.
Or we could do it, we could save it for the next meeting, which might require us to change the dates on that.
That's a good point. Do we make enough? I don't know how that's
No,
that
we have,
works.
because I don't think we've approved spending the money, that. We discussed that.
Oh, you didn't approve it
No, we
last.
discussed it.
Oh, okay. Well, then we should probably talk about that. Okay. This meeting, or do you want to do it next week?
I think we should see the language as it's done, like when it's finished.
Okay.
Because otherwise we're voting on something that could possibly change.
Okay, let's talk about that. So we modified the language of the call for new art only. Last meeting, there was a discussion about the increase in budget. So it's a $35,000 budget, $5,000 being held for kind of miscellaneous expenses along the way, $30,000 going to the artist. So that wasn't voted on.
We did not vote on it.
Okay, so in that case, then let's tie up some of the loose ends probably with the outstanding questions on the art call. And then we'll distribute it to everyone before the next meeting, and then we can vote on language and budget. Does that sound like a plan? Okay.
I think we should vote on the final thing.
Okay, that's fair. I agree.
So we should anticipate a voting on around 35,000.
Right.
Yes,
Okay. Sounds good.
which is 10,000 more, I believe, than the last time.
Yeah, because we approved 25, right?
Mhm. Okay, thank you, Martin. Any other comments or questions, thoughts on the median art?
The only thought that I had was, have you guys looked at the call for when we did the grass on Broadway?
No, I don't think we've seen the call for the grass.
I don't know if someone could dig it up, but I'd be curious.
I
to
don't
know.
think
they
it was-
commissioned
they
that
commissioned
person.
it.
They didn't do a public
So
call.
I don't,
It was what?
commission
It was
versus
commissioned.
like,
Okay, maybe it's late in the call, but I don't know, some of the questions you were referencing earlier, we've done this before, so what maybe do we already have documentation wise?
Let me follow up with community development. I
Yeah.
think they're the ones who
Did that?
I think did, yeah. So let me see what I can
Yeah.
find out and I'll forward it on to you guys.
we do reference it in our call, because I think that's the last large piece that we probably commissioned for roadway work.
That's probably a good one, because that's also a highway, so state highway.
Mhm.
So there's probably really similar to what this is.
Yeah, it was a little different in the way that it was procured, but
You're right, but I think the requirements are probably.
probably.
Good idea.
Okay, thank you. Okie dokie, moving on. Okay, I want to talk about the Arts District, which I know has been brought up, and actually this topic of the Arts District has been sort of an ongoing conversation for years. And more specifically, developing an arts district of some kind. And, you know, when you think about arts districts, I think about, well, immediately think of Santa Fe, right? They have a lot of infrastructure and a very artistic community right there. And it doesn't have to look like that, obviously, but we have a pretty vibrant, believe it or not, makers district on the other side of Santa Fe, like kind of Dartmouth-y and Santa Fe-ish. I mean, I can think of like businesses that I've frequented. I have like a custom wood maker. They do like, there's an operation over there that does custom snowshoes, like very unique manufacturing.
I also want to add, so I brought this up at my meeting with artists. And
Yes.
they're also building a big art complex for artists to live over there.
Live?
It's going to be called Continuum or something like that. And so they're building this space for artists to have like to come and do like internship, have studios, rent studio spaces over there.
But to also live?
If I understood Courtney right, I need to ask more questions.
So-
So it's either just to have studios or it might provide some like housing / studio space. I need to ask.
There
a
is a
little
new
more.
space, there's a space over there that they're redeveloping an old union building. I can't remember what the union was, but power, electrical, I don't remember what the union, but there is a couple who's redeveloping that building for those type of suites upstairs, and then downstairs they have like a big ceramic studio, and in the back they have a huge, I mean, I think they might even have almost an acre of land, a huge like patio, open air space for events if they wanted to do it. And I wonder if that's the same.
I think it's the same
Okay,
space.
there wasn't any living at that one.
Okay, I
but-
think maybe she was meaning like maybe I just misunderstood her. She meant like the artists could like house and live all their stuff there. That's
Okay.
maybe what she meant. But
Okay,
yes.
yes.
It's like a new space.
Yes.
And it's like housing a lot of artists that's over by Black Cube.
It is, yeah.
And it's kind of a big deal that it's happening in that space, but it won't offer classes. There's a bunch of contingency. They feel like it should be offering more to the community, but it does seem like it's like headed in that direction for that area.
Yeah.
With a lot, like what you're saying, a lot of
Yeah.
up and coming art stuff going on.
Yeah, they've been working on that space. I think I toured it maybe a year ago, and it was pretty raw still, but they had some really neat like plans.
Where was that?
It's in that part that sticks up from England,
Yeah, it's in that part that sticks up.
that part, arm.
Yeah, Dartmouth and
It looks very
Huron,
industrial.
or like kind of over in that very like industrial part of Englewood. I don't even remember the exact cross streets at this point, but so we can imagine this arts district in so many different ways. And I know that there's probably a lot of us in here who have no experience creating an art district, myself included. But there are a lot of resources online, and we have a lot of arts districts within Colorado to reach out to for support. And so what I'd like to sort of propose is that we start a small group who'd start exploring it. It's going to be uncomfortable because a lot of us don't have this type of experience, but I think that it's not a short-term goal. It's a long-term goal. This isn't something we want to rush through or not be thoughtful about. And so think about if this is right for you, obviously, but this is kind of a multiple year, I think, endeavor. But I think it could be really neat for Englewood. It could provide extra funding. It could provide, activating art spaces where none exist. And so from a long-term perspective, I think this could have immense impact on the community. So if it's something that you're interested in, I think we should talk about who might be interested in this and who is willing to sort of put in a little bit of legwork along the way, because it will be a lot of kind of like research and development, sort of learning on the job,
I'm in.
right?
Yeah. And I would support, and I think the artists, like when I brought it up, which I know I'll talk about next, they were really on board for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a little bit of, we have some Martin, Monica, Kyle, Leah, myself.
Yeah.
Okay,
So almost everybody.
Huh?
Almost everybody.
it's almost everybody. That's okay, but this is not gonna be a small project.
Right.
Can I
So,
add something?
yes,
Just to this, I'm thrilled to see that this commission is something that you guys are wanting to explore this. I think it's a really interesting idea, and I think that Inglewood has a very unique identity as an artistic community that we can really leverage and lean into and own. The state, Office of Economic Development, the OEDIT department, they have really great resources of kind of like how to explore this. But I would also encourage those who are going to be looking at it to speak to Inglewood's Community Development Department, specifically to Karen Hollingsworth. The city has explored this in the past, but we maybe didn't have the right amount of density to support something like this. So there's some historic knowledge within the organization. And because arts districts are considered economic development tools, partnering and being in lockstep with that team will be really helpful. And I know that Darren is really open to that conversation. And so maybe some folks meeting with him would be good. I know Debbie can help facilitate that, but that's an idea for this group to consider.
So Darren would be the best contact.
Yeah, Debbie, do you want to add something?
Yeah, well, no, I was gonna say I can either set up a meeting or see if Darren wants to come to next month's meeting, or, I mean, whatever you guys would.
Can we wait?
I don't mean to speak out of color, but are we the right people to be exploring this, or are we stepping on toes by taking it?
I think it should be a partnership we've done
Fair.
between those two things. I think we're the right ones.
And maybe we look into it and then realize this isn't maybe our wheelhouse necessarily or whatever, and can have.
I just don't want to
Kind of
be,
hold on
I
to
want to make
someone.
sure that we're
Working
positioning,
together.
we're doing it right.
Set up a meeting.
Yeah.
I think if Debbie sets up a meeting, then we can discuss and see if we would be stepping on toes or not. Or if we can just help in some way or another.
Or is it better to have a phone conversation with Darren first, maybe, I don't know.
Disclosure, I brought this idea to Darren recently. I said, hey, this is something that's come up. And he's like, oh yeah, we looked at that before. It could be really interesting. I think he's open to it. So I don't think an introductory conversation of just even aligning on, is this something that's the right time? And is it feasible? And what role would the CAC play in it? What's the right step? Obviously, I think something like this, coming from a citizen group and then being elevated to the council level to say, this is something that we think would be a good idea, I think is a nice way for that to happen. It's not the only way that it can happen. But I think this is a real opportunity for something like this. But you're right, it's not a small thing, but I also don't think it would be feasible for a citizen-led commission to actually execute it. Yeah. But it might get some wheels turning.
My recollection of this is that we had been working on it. Like when I started in 2018 here, that was something that had been discussed. And then when the pandemic hit, it was over. Like we kind of put it on the back burner. And we never put any like serious effort into it because we were just trying to figure out if we had the density. I think that was the sticking point. We didn't have those things. I mean, the way that we were looking at building a district at that point in time was different than what we're thinking of now. So I think it's worth exploring it.
I do too.
I have one other thing to say is that the CCI has a conference that they host every year, which is, I think it's in June this year, we found out, like the first week of June.
Do you want to explain what CCI is for
The Colorado Creative Industries, they're the ones who administer the arts districts. And they do a conference every year in Colorado. I went to one when I first started it, which was in Greeley. This year it's in Crested Butte. And in the past, we've had money to send people from this commission to that thing. I don't remember them paying for the hotel, but it was in Greeley, so I drove home. But they'll pay for the fee to get
conference fees, right?
Conference fees. I would definitely say that I would be willing to go, but I've been to one So like people who want to be on this committee, we should probably send
A couple.
a couple of people.
I think it's good too from like just a personal development standpoint for those of us who don't have a ton of experience in some of this, that
It was super inspiring and really
Yeah.
informative. Like, it's a really cool thing.
I don't think that's something we have to decide tonight, but if it's something that anyone on this small group is interested in June, that's,
Yeah, and don't be shy. Go to it.
yeah.
Can you repeat what CCI is?
Colorado Creative Industries.
Industries, okay.
I can't remember what's that.
Like ideas?
The lady who runs that came and spoke to the commission once. I think she's retiring. Is that right?
Look at the Colorado Municipal League Conference this year. There was several members of council heard a presentation on this summer when we were at the CML conference. And I think that there's some curiosity and some interest on council about what it could look like. And how it would dovetail kind of into the other things that we're already working on, right? And so if it has merit, I think it'd be interesting to know.
So I
And
think
it's not that expensive. I mean, it's like I think it was in the past, it was like $200 or something.
yeah, it's not terrible.
It's not terribly expensive.
I think let's try to meet maybe with Darren first.
Yeah.
Though I'm swamped until November, but.
It's fine. I mean, this can be like a 2022
And
initiative.
then I suppose we each should go out and start gathering information from the community and see what.
Yeah, I think that we can talk about that in a small group, but, okay, well then let's,
I'll touch base with Darren, see what he, recommends or when he would be available on that, and I'll reach out to you guys.
perfect. Okay. Well, thank you for the discussion, everyone. It's kind of exciting. I mean, talk about like a stamp, Okay. Artist meeting.
Yeah, so we had a subcommittee meeting where I invited artists, and we had, I think we ended up having 6 people show up who are artists in the community. So it was really great because they had a lot of input. We had a heated debate on what qualifies something as an art walk versus a studio art tour, which was great because I think we all ended up on the same page that we were talking about a studio art tour, and that an art walk would be a once a month Friday type art walk. And so we all landed that actually what we want is more of a studio art tour for Inglewood at this point. And so all the artists were really interested in that. We also have 2 artists from that group who are interested in potentially applying to the Median Art Project, who are sculpture people. So we'll see. They were kind of excited by that. So I told them I'd make sure they went to Cafe, which I assume you're using, but they want to see if they can do it. And it was just nice to hear their input. And so at this point, I think they would love to see next year us collaborating with the chambers, if possible, or figuring that out to do a bigger studio art tour in Inglewood. They also are very interested in supporting an art district, and I think some of these artists could be great folks to have on a subcommittee, or be even if they're not on the subcommittee, to just represent the artist community. Because 2 of them have come out of the Santa Fe Art District and now have migrated here because, as you all know, the Santa Fe Art District has a lot of artists leaving that area because they simply cannot afford to pay rent there. And so we're getting some of those footsteps in people. And so I think we're also in a special time in Inglewood that some of these heavier art communities that are getting really expensive in Rhino and Santa Fe, we're here and willing to take them. And I think we make them want to stay. Like, I think it's a moment, where we could really get some great stuff going for that, for the artists in the community. So anyway, that was kind of our discussion, and that's where we landed. Our next meeting is October 19th, 6 p.m. Devil's Head Distillery. If anybody would like to join, I think I'll be there. But they were very happy just to have a place to chit chat. I left around 7, and I'm pretty sure they were just getting started as far as discussions were going. So
What day did you say that was?
October 19th,
What time?
6 p.m.
That's great. I think we're going to have, the last time we were at Devil's Head for the artist meet and greet, and just kind of anecdotally, I think we have at least a handful of local artists who would qualify and are very interested in the median art project
Yes.
from a culture perspective. That seems to be on our artist list. We have a lot of that kind of representation.
Yeah.
So, cool.
However, I do keep getting requests. I've gotten now 2 requests in the community for mural artists. So if anybody does know mural artists, we actually don't have a lot in our database right now. And I know we've worked with more artists than are listed in that database. So if any of you can go back and find artists who are mural artists, I'd love to A, get them in the database, and B, create a separate one, because that seems to be a common request I'm getting of people who know that I'm on this committee. They come to me looking for these artists, and I feel like we need to get a more robust list on there.
Do you think
I have
it's,
a name to send you.
Yeah, please.
do you think it's worthy of like a social media type post?
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Just to have it, because I feel like, it keeps coming up with businesses, like, that they want names, and then I'm like, and the only one I can name really at this point is Amanda Wolf, and that's because I know her work, but
I don't think she's an Englewood artist.
I don't think she's Inglewood, isn't she Denver? So again, it would be nice to know Inglewood muralist.
I'll take that as a takeaway.
I think that would be worth probably just every once in a while post a thing
Agreed.
about Englewood artists, like, hey, are you an artist here? Join our.
When we did it, when the last campaign that we did, like the last drip campaign kind of for that, it was really successful, so.
Yeah, even if we could just get a social media post.
Well, and actually October 19th, we could put that as a post of just like, if you want to come give artists input on the a casual cultural arts committee. I don't know if meet and greet's the right word, but it's like,
Discussion.
if you want to come have discussion and input on the artists and meet other artists, come to this meeting. Because really any artist
I
is
can work with communications.
Yeah.
And any, specific verbiage you want, let me know.
Okay, I'll try to type something
And
up.
calling all artists.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question. I wonder if it could also be put in the magazine or, the brochure that goes out. Because I know when I moved to Inglewood, that was one of the first thing I looked in and found out about the arts committee and stuff like that. Like maybe just a call for artists to send their name and address, or whatever.
I haven't seen a call for articles for the next magazine. Yeah.
And the newsletter too. Yeah, that goes out through email. Yeah. And let me get with communications.
Okay.
Kind of, definitely we can, Christina, like in the brochure or the Citizen magazine and that, so. Yeah.
The current magazine is in process. I think they just did final edits, so it'd be the next one we could put that in, but definitely a possibility.
And I'll talk to communications on, newsletters and stuff like that.
Great. Thank you. That was awesome. Upper Colorado.
So they reached out to me. They wanted us to support them for a trivia night. I did send her that application that we have for artists, but it didn't really apply because they were looking to do a cultural event, not an art project. And so it was 2 takeaways. I think we don't have, I know you worked on this. We have a great application for art projects, but we don't have an application for cultural events. So they wanted us to support a trivia night. But however, I will say she's not here tonight. She didn't give me enough details of what she actually wanted support with. So I'm not sure it was the right fit for us.
The date?
She didn't give me, I don't think it was a name. It was like opera trivia.
You know a lot about that?
It was actually opera. It was like an opera trivia night. And they want to do it at Devil's Head Distillery after our event because they loved it and they want to do something similar. But it just made me think like maybe we need to create a cultural application for cultural events or some sort of other that's different. Like
We could even just add something to the current thing that's like, because if they're only needing like funding, for example, then there's not a whole lot they need to fill out, like funding, what's your idea? The whole thing doesn't need to be filled out, obviously, but we might be able to like put in a little like
So maybe that's worth adding, just
Yeah.
like a cultural event, what do you need funding for?
Yeah.
Does it have alcohol, yes or no? Like, so we don't fund,
Yeah.
we're clear about what we can fund. Like, if it's the artist performing at your trivia night, we can fund. If it's the beverage, like,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. But I do think it would be cool because like we are the Cultural Arts Commission. I think there are some cool cultural events that aren't happening that could be if we let
Totally.
people know we're available.
I think that's great. I'll work on that. I have the template.
Okay. And then as far as what they need, I'm not sure yet. She never emailed me back, but I guess if by the next meeting she wants to get back to us. I think it was in November.
Okay. All
Go
right.
to opera trivia.
Jeez, you seem very into opera trivia.
Hey, I've studied opera in college.
There you go. You have a ringer.
Start our own team.
I'll just
Remind me to answer all the questions.
I'll just guess Verity every time. Verity.
Oh, shoot.
And I have a question related to that. I wonder if people are putting on events in the community, is there a way for them to, not necessarily going through us, but is there a way that they can get it on a community calendar or get it publicized in some way? Like,
Tony?
if they're not looking for money and they're just looking for, exposure or whatever.
I guess, Tony, that might be something, I don't know how that stuff gets routed to you. Or if it does. Or if
Yeah,
there's an
no.
option for like random type, non-city sponsored type events.
Yeah, so if it's a non-city sponsored type of event, then it kind of takes a different route. But if it's a city partnered event, which it definitely could be, then that's definitely something we can work on. So for a good example would be the Masons and murals and mason jars that the chamber's doing this coming weekend. Like, that's a partnership, between the chamber and the city, which this is also something that I could partner with these other entities to have events in Inglewood.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of similar to like when we did our steamroller event a couple years ago. Yeah, okay.
Kind of like the Swedish horses.
Yeah, totally, right. Okay. Anything else on that?
That's it for me.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Kyle. Well, speaking of events, this was a hot topic last year, and I probably should have brought it up maybe a month earlier, but I wanted to talk about what the winter market might be in December and what you need, because this was something we muddled through last year that I'd like to be better at this year.
Awesome. Well, I actually had that. I wanted to come to talk to you guys about that anyway. So I don't know if it's my turn, but I'm happy to talk about it now. So I would love to have your group support or partnership or however you would like to be involved in the event. So I have a couple of different things that we're looking at possibly having. So I didn't know if it would be supporting a particular thing or where you guys were kind of at on it. If you want to be present and have a booth, we do have an indoor and outdoor option this year, which is exciting. I'm working with the guild. So we'll have the indoor option, which is where Santa will be. And so, we're looking at having the DJ, a photo booth. There's a possibility of a bubble machine or dancing Christmas trees. So a lot of different opportunities that we could do. So I just wanted to put it out there to see if that's something that you guys are interested in and how you would like, if you would like, and how you would like to participate.
I think we'd like to participate. I think we do best when we know what our need, what the specific need is, and we can put some money around it, because these decisions are gonna have to be made like next month for December, so.
Do you want it to be similar to like the block party, Tony, where like we host a booth that's like an interactive Christmassy art thing, or?
That would be hard to get
That,
together.
that's gonna be very, I think,
We'd have
the
to have
feasibility
it
of that,
started.
yeah.
But it'd be nice to have a booth where we could put our email list out and say, are you an artist?
But like if you wanted us to procure a specific need, I don't know what that looks like. Dancing trees, I don't know anything about, but like a caricaturist or something, that's like more family friendly that we can pull specifically from our list and and capture and then figure out what that money allocation looks like, then that's helpful. Because I think we do better when we have a little bit of focus versus like the world is your oyster, especially because we only have like 30 days.
Right.
Paying for an artist.
Yeah.
I love the character as, idea because it's something they can take away. So I do really like that idea. I don't know if that's something that's possible in this type of short time frame.
We have a couple on our artist list.
Cool.
And I think there are several around the greater Denver area. But if that's something that
There are
interests
two on
you,
our Englewood artist list.
I think we have two.
Good.
I know we have at least one, but I think we have two. We might be able to do a little exploration there and see what date is it?
December 3rd.
Okay. And what's the time?
2 to 6.
Okay. Does anyone want to take the lead on reaching out to different artists around the greater area and then getting like a price point and availability?
And even if you guys have a list, I would be happy to make those contacts too. If people don't have the time.
I will send them to you, Tony.
How about we decide, can we decide on a price of what we think we can afford to support that night?
I don't know what the price. Yeah.
Not like the block party where we just set 1,000 was
Yeah, I
our
know.
max.
Let's see what they charge first, because I think we can.
Yeah. I don't know where that price point
There's
is.
two of them on the list. Let's get
Right.
it.
So based on the other things that I've reached out to for kind of interactive things, be a dancing Christmas tree or a bubble machine or different types of like photography or stuff like that, it seems like $150 an hour is the going rate, and a minimum of 2 to 3 hours seems to be what I'm finding for everything I've reached out to.
Yeah. That's about
Cool.
right. Yeah. Okay.
Well, that would put us right around 1,000, which is what we did last year, right?
Yeah.
Didn't we do
I think
1,000 last
1,000.
year and we did 1,000 per
Yeah.
block party?
Mhm.
I just think if we stick with those amounts, if that's kind of our amounts every year, of like, these are 2 events, this is what we'll contribute,
Mm-hmm.
might be kind of.
I like it.
Easy to, yeah, block, yep. All right. Tony, I'll get that to you.
Perfect.
And I don't know if you had anything else on that. I don't, but if we want to move into staff's choice, you can start. If you have other items you'd like to discuss.
Sorry, do we want to have a booth do we want to have us staff a booth at, like have the cultural arts commission be there, like we did for the block party? I have to be there anyway. I have a 3-year-old. Stupid Christmas tree, so.
So if I may, my suggestion on that would be that I would set up a booth with cultural arts. The table covers the retractable banners and all of your information, and we could put the, if it's the muralist or the caricaturist or whoever in that booth, and then you guys could come by and support it just like you did like the block party, just an idea.
Yeah, I think that's.
I'm willing to do my hour.
Me too.
Yeah, I think
I'll
I'm
do
free
a
that
couple
day too.
I can do a half an hour that day, but I will do it.
Okay, yeah. All right, Tony, you got us.
Sweet, thank you. And then the second thing that I wanted to ask the group about is to see if you had any interest or thoughts on the 2023 volunteer t-shirt design like we did last year for the 2022 volunteer t-shirts.
Yeah, we should probably do that.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
We like it.
Forgot about that. So I think the last year, the timeline was, I want to say we put it out towards the end of the year with like a 1/1 or a 2/1 completion date so that you could have them printed for like 3/1 or 4/1. Am I thinking about that right?
You are thinking about that right, but we have had so much fun this year that we are going to be starting our events before March probably. So if we could have the t-shirts printed sooner than rather in the beginning of the year to start handing out to our volunteers, that would be awesome.
Could we put together a call for November to vote on?
Yeah, we could put together a call for, we could just replicate last year's call for November. I think the price point was 500?
Yeah.
$500. And then the timeline could be a 1/1 completion. That would give 2 months, especially with the holidays, like a little bit of buffer there, 2 months for a 1/1. So then our meeting in January, which is on the 4th, we could probably decide, so then you could have them ready right after that night. Does that sound like a feasible timeline?
That would be amazing.
Okay,
Great, thank you.
yep. Jeez, this is content
that's
heavy
it.
tonight. Okay. What else, Tony?
That is it. Just, I hope to see you guys all there. So we still have plenty of events. We have the trunk or treat on the 22nd of October, and then the holiday bazaar at the Malley Center, and the first Saturday in November, November 5th, and then the tree lighting. So still some great events out there.
Thank you. Christina, anything on your end from staff?
And Holiday Express is also in December, so get your tickets. No, I will get you all the information probably by early next week. We hope to hear back from legal for the call for artists, so that's coming your way shortly. And that's all I've got.
Council?
No updates on the council front. I was gonna just re-up what Tony also mentioned. The Chamber's doing their Mason Jars and Mural event this Saturday, which is a really fun way to display the public art in the city. So tell your friends. I will unfortunately be out of town, but it's a great cross-section of our local businesses and our local art.
Martin, they have a kid one at Blue Tile. They're
Cool.
trying to get kids there.
Oh, sweet.
So if you want tickets, I can contact Courtney.
What day is that again?
It's the Saturday from 4
Saturday.
to 6.
Oh, this Saturday? I'll be at Davita.
Yeah, I'm unfortunately out of town too. That was my only talking point. Blue Tile and the Chamber are hosting Blue Tiles on the 3900 block. You buy a mason jar and you can get different drink discounts, and then there's around town, and then there are obviously different art installations around town that you can walk or drive to. So it's been a couple of years, I think. I can't remember if they did it last year or not, but it has been really successful and really fun, I've heard in the past. So unfortunately, I'm always out of town for it. And adults have to register online, so just an FYI. That's all on my front. Anything else from any of the other commission members? Nothing? Nothing. All right, then I say we adjourn. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, everyone on the call.
Bye.
And it has, I know.